Yo, what's good, everybody? RJ Sheldon here, episode 83 of Off the Top Show. Obviously, you know what we do on here. We talk about nothing but sports and dive into some sports news. So let's go ahead and go right into it. Ali, this week, we've had some sporting events take place. Obviously, Monday Night Football here, so let's go ahead and hop right into that. San Francisco 49ers went ahead and faced the Minnesota Vikings. Minnesota Vikings shocked the 49ers and obviously the NFL, winning this game 22-17. Kirk Cousins was 35 of 45 from the field, 378 yards passing, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. Alex Madison, 8 carries for 39 yards and no touchdowns, but he had a good run to start the game off on their first drive of offense. On the first quarter, definitely was a good starter there to go ahead and get them going. But let's go ahead and dive into these wide receivers here, man. There's a lot of guys touching the ball on Monday for the Vikings. Obviously, Jordan Addison had 7 receptions for 123 yards, 2 touchdowns. Definitely showed toughness of bouncing back and making plays when needed to be. Obviously, there in the beginning, Ward stole obviously the ball from him after him running like a 5-yard in route, but then obviously down later in the game came in and got, as we call it, his lick back and went ahead and scored on that 60-yard, I think, touchdown from Kirk Cousins. But TJ Hawkinson got involved as well, 11 receptions for 86 yards. Brandon Powell had 4 receptions for 64. KJ Osborne had 5 for 47. Cam Akers also on a couple running back screens was getting busy as well, had 2 for 13. T.Y. Chandler had 1 for 12. Got my brother, man, obviously Tristan Jackson in there, 1 for 7. It's good to see him in the stat line, due for what all he's been through, in his time in the league, and finally be able to play Monday nights. It's a huge accomplishment. This was a great game for the 49ers. Great game for the Minnesota Vikings to win. Right now they're 3-4. I think now they are second in their division in the NFC North. And we talk about that a lot. So this is a great win for the Minnesota Vikings, especially rolling into Lambeau Field this coming weekend. Definitely going to be 3-4, and that's going to be a good, tough game as well, being in Lambeau. But great win for the Vikings as a whole. We saw a lot of guys in that wide receiver room make plays, and their defense was playing unreal as well, getting stops when need be. Speaking of basically their whole defense, Bynum obviously had, I think, 9 tackles total, 2 interceptions, big interceptions, in critical times in the game to switch the momentum. Defense was balling. So this is a great team win for the Vikings, and we shall see what they do against the Packers. For the 49ers, realistically, I don't think you need to go ahead and really worry about what you guys got going on. You're 5-2, right? That loss, a couple ball-headed plays by Brock Purdy. Brock Purdy's actually being in a situation where he needs to manage the game, take care of certain situations, take care of the football. Clearly, he didn't do that. Obviously, 2 interceptions, and those were timely interceptions. There's talk about, is he a top quarterback, this, that, and the third. I mean, if we check his tracking record last year of what he did in the playoffs, excuse me, he is still a good quarterback. It's the NFL. Every team in the NFL is good if they come out and do what needs to be done for all 4 quarters. So I wouldn't really worry about this as a San Francisco 49ers fan, but you do want to go ahead and see next week a W. You don't want to go ahead and hit this losing streak within this meat of the season, especially being week 6 now until basically playoff time is crunch time. But if I'm a San Francisco fan, I won't be too worried. And then moving on, obviously, over to yesterday, finally got some NBA, obviously, on TV, and it's great to have basketball back. I'm excited for this season. We got a treat yesterday. Obviously, the Los Angeles Lakers faced the Denver Nuggets. Denver Nuggets won that one 119-107. Nikola Jokic, obviously, MVP opening night for him. Obviously, the whole team won it last year. They got their rings, got the banner hung up, all that good stuff. And he still picked up where he left off last year. 29 points, 13 rebounds, 11 assists. And obviously, his partner in crime, Jamal Murray, had 21, 2 rebounds, and 6 assists. Eric Gordon had 15, 7 rebounds, 5 assists. A lot of chatter with Coel Pope. That back and forth of saying that, I needed more shots in LA, or however that transpired. But he did his thing as well, dropping 20. He was getting to his mid-range and hitting shots. Obviously, we all know that this Denver Nuggets team has the target on their back. They won it last year. I think they're definitely going to be a team that's going to be back in that hunt, getting deep in the playoffs. But this was a good win, obviously, for the Denver Nuggets. You never want to lose when you hang the banner. This is a long season. This is just game one of 82 games. But it was good seeing the Denver Nuggets play the way they played. And for the Lakers, I don't think you need to be, worried. With LeBron did what he needed to do, but you do need to be worried about what we're going to get. And I think this is the Achilles heel of the Lakers, of what we're going to get from Anthony Davis. Excuse me. 17 points, 8 rebounds, 4 assists. But all those 16 points or 17 points came in the second half, and he did not score in the fourth. In the first half, it was 17 points that he scored, but in the second half, he didn't score anything. And you can't have that out of your best player to go ahead, especially in the NBA, in the third or fourth quarter to have 0 points. That's not good. But I liked what, in the beginning they were hanging around, and keeping it close to where, okay, here we go. If we do get in a situation where we can go ahead and get a lead, we could, but they just came up short. And I think obviously with this first game, it's definitely, you got new pieces. You got to see where things fit. But obviously, LeBron came out and did his thing as well. 21 points, 8 rebounds, 5 assists. Prince, new addition, had 18 points, 3 rebounds, 1 assist. I think that'll be a good pickup for the LA, due to him obviously hitting corner threes, more of a shooter specialist than anything. That's a good pickup. Good to see him, obviously, stat line at 18. D'Angelo Russell, another guy that needs to be consistent, had 11 points, 4 rebounds, 7 assists, but multiple turnovers. I think they turned the ball over, at least over 10 times. Or I could be wrong on that. Let me go ahead and check real quick. Yeah, they had 11 turnovers. Same thing as the Denver Nuggets. But I just think those turnovers where they were at, they were critical moments where they could go ahead and possibly get the lead. So you're a Lakers fan, obviously, and Denver Nuggets fan is game one, but this is definitely was given playoff atmosphere vibes. This can definitely be two teams that play each other again down the road, late in the season. So we should see what happens with those two teams, but they're definitely, going to be in the playoffs, I feel, down the line. And then obviously the nightcap here, we had the Phoenix Suns versus the Golden State Warriors. The Phoenix Suns went ahead and won that one 108 to 104. Kevin Durant coming back to the Bay to face obviously Steph Curry. They haven't faced each other in a long time. KD had 18 points, 10 rebounds, 3 assists. But I think we all know who the man in the Showtime man of this game was obviously Devin Booker, having 32 points, 6 rebounds, 8 assists. Watching that game, he was putting display of getting in the paint, over the shoulder, fadeaway cash, getting to his spots, hitting threes, hitting consistent shots that he normally does in a game to a T. And I'm excited to see what he does after this game, and looking at Devin Booker and what he was on, he's looking like he's trying to win an MVP. And I think he can definitely be in that talk of winning an MVP this year. I liked what I saw from him on the court. I actually liked what I saw from, the Phoenix Suns as a whole, right? There's been so much talk. You got Bradley Beal, you got, KD, you got Devin Booker, who's going to play point guard. Majority, Devin Booker was playing point guard the whole time, bringing the ball up, and then obviously switching it off with KD as well. Kind of going ahead and just doing like some type of, I want to say triangle motion, but just one vivid play that sticks out to me is obviously their big man. I forget who it is. He came from Portland. Nurkic, excuse me. He was basically being on the top of the key. Devin Booker would go down, obviously, on the baseline, come back up. KD would give him a screen, and then obviously they would work with their big man as well to pick and roll, or Kevin Durant would come into the picture. But this is a good win. This is a good win to see, if you're a Phoenix Suns fan, because you really didn't know going in what you were going to get. Obviously, Bradley Beal didn't even play, so that's even a plus. You basically beating a Golden State Warriors team that, to be honest with you, it's definitely going to be a dogfight for them. They still are a good team. They still have, Klay Thompson. They still have Steph Curry. And they still got Draymond. They added Chris Paul. And obviously Kevin Looney's there as well. Kuminga playing, but there's a lot of this is game one. This isn't like we're all the way in the playoffs, but you got to kind of be like, oh man, like is this the time where we're gonna be fighting to get into this, the playoffs this year, or we're gonna be playing in the playing game because this Western Conference and the NBA as a whole is only going to get better. Young talent is definitely going to be crawling and scratching to get into, a seed this year in the playoffs. For Warriors fans, especially definitely this game playing against the Phoenix Suns, I'd definitely be worried about this. Granted, I know it's game one, but we shall see what happens. There's a lot of pieces that are new. Basically, big one is Chris Paul. I think they played great together, but down the stretch, they needed to go ahead and get things done, and clearly they did. So, like I said, game one, but I would be a little bit worried if I was a Golden State Warriors fan, just due to what I saw from watching that game from front to back. Hopefully, you go ahead and see these guys again, within the season, which you will, and kind of go ahead and split that series, in the regular season when playoff time comes, have to ante up and gear up. And that was for yesterday for the NBA. And I know we have some more games today as well. We're just getting overload of NBA because the season's here and they're going to be playing like every day, which is incredible. Today we have the Boston Celtics facing the New York Knicks. That should be a great one. Obviously, we all know the big three in Boston. Or if it's the new big three, or I don't even know. I'm just saying that due to who's there. But obviously Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, and Porzingis. And then obviously they added on Drew Holiday from the Bucks, released or trading him, obviously with that trade to get Damian Lillard. I'm excited to see what this Boston Celtic team does. If you really look on paper, especially the four guys that they have there, they could definitely be the front runners here in the East, along with the Milwaukee Bucks. I'm excited to see how that gels out. And then obviously for the New York Knicks, Jalen Brunson. Then on top of that, Josh Hart. But I know they acquired another Villanova guy as well this offseason. Julius Randle is there. This should be a good game to kind of start off, day two of NBA. But if Boston Celtics do what needs to be done, I think they'll definitely run away with this one. Boston has way too much firepower when you look at it on paper, and I think they're the better team. So we shall see, though. But I could be wrong. New York Knicks do play good at home. They do have a solid team that plays within one another, coach very well. But I got the Boston Celtics on this one, and that one's at 6 o'clock on ESPN. And then the nightcap for NBA today, 8:30 p.m., we have the Dallas Mavericks versus San Antonio Spurs. This should be a great one. I'm excited to see Wembanyama do his thing. He's been looking very good in preseason. It's crazy to see that particular guy being that extremely tall at 7 foot, acting like a guard, basically be able to play all positions and play defense effectively on the back end. So I'm ready to see what he does against Kyrie Irving and Luka. That definitely is going to be a good game. But if you want my honest opinion, I think the Dallas Mavericks are going to come out with that one. It might be a tight game. Might be an interesting game, but I think they have way too much firepower, way too much veteran play, guys that have been in playoffs, guys that have witnessed, crunch time situations. So I got the Dallas Mavericks on that one, but I'm excited to see Wembanyama do his thing. I'm excited to see Luka do his thing. I'm excited to see Kai do his thing as well. And just excited to watch these guys hoop. And for that, I think we have some teams as well playing. Timberwolves are facing the Raptors to start off their season. I'm looking at, later tomorrow or when the game's on the highlights to see Anthony Edwards go crazy. He's been having an unreal, USA run with the team and then rolling into preseason. And this is a big year for him. I think he's going to show why he needs to be an MVP this year. I think him, it's kind of the same position with Devin Booker, kind of showing like, all right, yeah, this is a new era and this is my era to where I'm going to be the top guy in the league. So I'm excited to see, that box score with the Timberwolves versus the Raptors. Might even get NBA Pass and watch it. But that's one that's out there. Another game as well to watch if you're in the Minneapolis area. And then for the Piston fans here, Detroit Pistons, we face in the Miami Heat. That is at 6:30. I'm excited to see, obviously, the young talent that they got going on there. I think it's just only a matter of time for for that team to go ahead and really have an opportunity to go ahead and get into a playing game or possibly even be a seed, in the playoffs. So it'll be a good test playing Miami Heat. So we shall see what goes down with that. But that's obviously for my people in Detroit. Pistons are playing at 6:30. And then obviously for the Milwaukee Bucks, my people there, we are playing on Friday against the 76ers. So we'll talk about that and all that good stuff on Friday. And then last but not least, man, MLB. Kind of throwing a curveball here, ironically. The Diamondbacks won last night against the Phillies 4-2. So that goes ahead and makes it official for obviously the 2020-2024 World Series. We got the Diamondbacks versus the Rangers, and that is on Friday as well at 7 o'clock. Definitely going to be tuned into that. If you haven't really watched any MLB baseball, this is the time to do it. For all my newbies, this is definitely, if you want to watch very good baseball, this is the time to watch it. Granted, I know for people that know me that, I have played baseball, but really around playoff time, that's where I'm really locked in. But with that, man, that is a short and sweet Wednesday of Off the Top Show. Continue to go ahead and check in on me, check in what we got going on. Obviously, my brother Tony Lippett has his podcast out as well, Speak On It podcast. It's incredible, so check that out as you check what we got going on. Obviously, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, all that good stuff. You guys have a great Wednesday afternoon rolling into the evening here, and we will see you on Friday. Peace out.